me start this review by talking about the reason why I bought this watch. Well, I bought this watch out of curiosity. Ever since I became interested in mechanical watches, the SKX kept popping out on various watch forums and sites, and I have always wondered what makes this $200 watch with movement that cannot hack or hand wind so special. So I bought one. I opted for the 009 because I already have a couple of black-faced divers, and this time I wanted something with a bit of a color. My model is K2, which means that it is made in Malaysia and comes with metal bracelet. There are also versions with rubber band, but I'm personally not a fan of stock SKX rubber band looks. The SKX007 and 009 were introduced in 1996, so it is 2 years younger than I am, and this particular watch was according to the serial number made in September of 2016. The case is made of 316L stainless steel, the diameter is 42 mm, thickness is slightly over 13 mm, lug-to-lug size is 46 mm, and lug width is 22 mm. This is an ISO certified diving watch. It features screw-down crown and it is water resistant up to 200 meters. Sides of the case are polished, upper part is brushed, surface finishing is consistent and could easily compete with watches priced much higher. Signature feature of this case is an offset crown at 4 o'clock, with crown guards covering the whole length of crown and therefore minimizing the chances of damage. Feel of unscrewing the crown is one of a very few disappointments of this watch. It definitely isn't the smoothest, but it is not a disaster by any means. Case back is also screwed down, contributing to water resistant. It features designation of the watch, serial number, and stamped version of famous painting called The Great Wave of Kanagawa by Japanese artist Katsushika Hokusai. The case feels incredibly solid and definitely encourages SKX owners to use the watch for its original intention purposes. Color of the dial is in reality very dark blue with gray tones, but it also appears black in certain light conditions. Surface is matte, it makes no reflections and ensures great legibility. There are no applied indices, but printed oversized indices match the styling of the watch very well. Day and date complications are situated at 3 o'clock. Seconds hand has a luminous pip on the counterweight, making it easy to check that your watch is running even in low light conditions. Arrow-shaped minute hand and hour hand are polished, which contrasts with the dial, and the amount of lume on both indices and hands is very generous. This watch has the brightest and longest lasting lume of all of my watches. Low light visibility is definitely not a problem with this one. There is also luminous pip on the bezel. Crystal on this watch is Seiko's own Hardlex hardened mineral substance, which is less scratch resistant than a sapphire crystal, but more shatter resistant. There is no anti-reflective coating on this crystal, but in my opinion this Hardlex crystal doesn't need it, since the amount of glare is minimal. The SKX features a 120-click unidirectional rotating diving bezel with aluminum insert. The turning action is surprisingly good for the price point. The amount of play is minimal. The bezel has reasonable amount of resistance and clicking sound is rather pleasant as well. Color coding has sort of metallic effect and especially the magenta color on 009 pops in the sun. The movement inside this watch is Seiko 7S26C, the third revision of 7S26, originally introduced in 1996, which makes this movement relatively new if you compare it for example to the ETA 2824, which dates back to 60s. This movement was designed to be reliable, robust, easy to produce and to service. You can think of it as sorts of T34 of watch movements. There is no hand winding functions, so to wind the watch you have to give it a shake, And there is also no hacking, which makes setting the second hand precise rather difficult, but still possible with so-called pseudo-hacking technique. There are indeed plastic parts used inside of this movement, but in fact the use of plastic holder that is not even secured in the case by screws makes the watch more shock resistant, and the use of plastic parts in calendar works has proved to be a good idea as well. This movement features a lot of great solutions, like for example a magic lever winding system that makes automatic winding very efficient. The C revision used since 2011 is supposed to be more accurate and tweaked version, and mine so far definitely is. Since the first day that I owned the watch, it is crazy accurate. It makes under plus 1 second a day, but they may change since this is a brand new watch. 7S26 is definitely not generally regarded as the most accurate movement. The finishing is very Spartan as well, but it is definitely an example of great Japanese industrial design. The stock bracelet on the SKX is definitely not the best part of the watch. It is quite light, it is mostly made out of stamped pieces of steel, clasp is stamped, the end links are hollow, and it makes rather unpleasant rattling sound. Overall, it doesn't match the robustness of the other parts of the watch. But there are also a few good points about this bracelet. It is extremely comfortable, it tapers down from 22 to 18 mm, which is what I prefer. It has 5 micro adjustment holes, and in my opinion it looks rather good on the wrist. I also ordered the strap code Super Jubilee bracelet, and I also intend to make a review of that, so stay tuned if you are interested. So at the beginning of this video, I said that I bought this watch because I wanted to understand why it is so popular, and now I think that I do understand. This is not the best made watch in the world, it doesn't have the best movement in the world, it doesn't hand wind, it doesn't hack, the bracelet is definitely not the best, but there is one category in which there is a very few watches that can match the Seiko SKX, and that is something that I would describe as a character. I would maybe compare it to another great product of Japanese engineering, the Mazda MX-5 or Miata. It is also not the fastest car in the world or the best made car, but there are very few cars that can make you feel the way the Miata does. SKX is the watch that you expect to see on the wrist of a man fishing with a spear or a sailor on a small boat in the Pacific Ocean, because those are the people that the SKX and its predecessors were designed for. And because of this character, I have no problem to forgive the SKX any of its flaws. Thank you for watching this video, I hope that you like it. I would greatly appreciate any kind of your feedback in form of thumbs up, thumbs down, comments and subscriptions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and see you next time.